right. So this is a book from Shaykh Saeed Foudeh. It's called A Critique of the Polymaran Creed, and that's Polymaran Creed is a book by Ibn Taymiyyah, right? And so if we go to page 18, this is the part I wanted to show you guys. So over here he says, this is from Shaykh Saeed Foudeh. Based on this shared portion or concurrence, Ibn Taymiyyah affirmed the hand, face, eye, and other things for Allah as concrete attributes, sifat ayniyah, not qualitative attributes. And by the way, this is something that Ibn Taymiyyah actually says directly, right? He mentions sifat ayniyah, and that's translated as concrete attributes, right? And that's one of the differences between the way he affirms attributes. This is the foundation of his belief in anthropomorphism, for he did not perceive a hand to be anything but a part and an appendage, meaning that, and this is explained throughout the book and other pages, which is that Ibn Taymiyyah says that uh, there should always be a somewhat of general similarity between. So, when you use the word hand, there has to be some similarity between God hand and human hand, because otherwise, according to Ibn Taymiyyah, nobody would understand the meaning of hand, right? Why would it use? He's saying, why would the Quran use words that nobody would understand? I'll show you that after this. This is the foundation of his belief in anthropomorphism, for he did not perceive a hand. Yeah, I read that. So, in his view, when the word hand is attributed to Allah, it must be a concrete part of Allah and not a qualitative attribute, right? This is anthropomorphism. This is also why he always negated likeness and not resemblance. So, this part here, so in Arabic, basically, what I'm pretty sure he's saying, so likeness is tamthil, resemblance is tashbih. Throughout history, the Sunnis usually negated tamthil and tashbih, but Ibn Taymiyyah doesn't like to negate resemblance, which is tashbih, because that word doesn't come from the Quran. The Quran does negate likeness, tamthil. And I think what Shaykh Saeed Foudeh is trying to explain is that what Ibn Taymiyyah believes likeness is means that it could be somewhat similar. Tashbih means entirely different, right? So you find that even Ibn Uthaymeen has a statement where he says multiple times through Majmu' Fatawa Ibn Uthaymeen that we should not negate tashbih because it's not in the Quran. We can only negate tamthil, right? All of this is clear to you, then everything that Ibn Taymiyyah said, right? You know, we can also, I'll go to the other part. I'll go to the other part. All right. Actually, let me pause it. Okay. So, in summary, Ibn Taymiyyah believed that the Quranic method is only one of detailed affirmation and general negation. The reason why he believed that it is with detailed affirmation was because he wanted to avail himself the opportunity to affirm what was mentioned previously. He believed that it was perfection for Allah. As for him, believing that the Quranic method was one of general negation is because he wanted to close the door in front of his opponents and prevent them from negating these deficiencies from God. So basically, what Sheikh Saeed Foudeh is arguing, I think what he's trying to say is, so this verse here, and there's nothing comparable to him, right? And it all depends on how you understand the verse, right? 42:11, there is nothing like him, right? And so, what does that mean, right? So, according to Ibn Taymiyyah, it means, uh, you know, so the what of Sheikh Saeed Foudeh's point of view is that there's absolutely nothing like him, right? That you cannot compare it to him. So Ibn Taymiyyah is saying that there is somewhat, you can't completely negate that, right? And I believe it's here. You're aware that Allah negated some deficiencies for Himself in detail, right? He affirmed complete and general perfection for Himself, just as He negated stinginess, right? And so he's saying that, and sometimes God negates things in detail. And this principle that was innovated by Ibn Taymiyyah was only promulgated in order to reach his goal and fulfill his desires. The scholars, however, believe that detailed negation is correct, just as they believe that general negation is correct, because every imperfection that occurs to the mind and which is subsequently affirmed for Allah must be denied and explicitly negated, in which there is a need for that. After all, what does that mean to negate a child and a wife from Allah? Is that not a detailed negation done in order to repudiate the claim of those who affirm it? The commentator on the Polymarean Creed took notice of this from afar. The point of evidence in this second verse is that Allah negated any similitude, meaning likeness, equal, or one similar to Him. He negated similitude and resemblance in general here, hence it is a general negation. The point of evidence is in His statement, there is nothing comparable to Him. As for the statement As for the statement of the exalted, He begets not, nor is He begotten. It is from the detailed realm of the detailed negation, because He negated the specific attribute. This verse is outside of the dominant principle. So as you can see here, He's basically saying that only if He specifically negates something, then it should be detailed negation. You understand? Like that He begets not, right? That's what this guy is arguing, which is a commentary on Ibn Taymiyyah's book. So I'm not sure if I don't think Ibn Taymiyyah wrote this. Right. Uh, and the reason is that they ascribe a child to Allah. The second reason is that having a child or children is an attribute of perfection with respect to the creation. So it was negated lest he imagined that it is described with it. Thus, even though it is an attribute of perfection for the creation, it is still an attribute of perfection that is connected with imperfection. And I don't want to make the video too long, but I think you guys get the point.